Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups, speaking into the mic here. So today we have another story that just came in, and this is a no contact situation, which is very common. She's in day 13, which is probably day 16 or 17 because I got this story a few days back. But basically what's going on here is she's a little confused about the situation. There's a lot of ins and outs. So let's just get right into this one. And if you got a breakup story you'd like to share and get my take on, please visit writemac.com. Not your right arm, but writing, writemac, as in write your story. Okay, I am on day 13 of no contact and radio silence. I was in a relationship of 4 months. So not a very long or serious relationship when it's 4 months, right? You should be in the honeymoon phase at that point. You should be getting along very well. Things should flow very well. If it's not good in the beginning, it's probably not going to be good long term. I met a nice guy who, after 1 month of dating, gave me a commitment ring, stating that he did not want to lose me. Commitment being relationship or marriage. I mean, that's an interesting way to go about a relationship, giving a ring in the first month, but okay. If it's nice to you, it's fine. I was in shock because I thought it was quite early to get such a ring. Well, I think so too, but I don't know what the commitment ring means to him or to you. When you say commitment ring, you're not saying marriage. So, like I said, what does that mean? I'm going to commit to being your boyfriend? We had an amazing connection. We never had sex. Why? I'm not saying you need to or don't need to. Did you want to and didn't have it, or did he not want to? If you're together 4 months and you're adults, I'm not saying you have to. You certainly could go without it if you're holding out. What's your reason? We like the same comedies, music, and why would you mention that to me? Is it an issue for you? Okay, these are some things that we could talk about in the live coaching. We like the same comedies, music, and had long conversations. However, by the middle of the 3rd month, it seems there was a cooling off and slightly pulling away. If you're cooling off by the 3rd month and not really feeling things, then it's probably not going to be a long-term relationship. By the 3rd month, you should be hitting high gear, and it should be going really, really well if you guys are gonna click well. And when someone's pulling away or slightly pulling away, that's you feeling their energy going away, and there's something wrong. What's wrong? I'm not sure, but there's something not right? And it could be their personal lives. I will see, looking back at times, I was needy. Okay, needy is annoying, it's uncomfortable, and it's a turnoff. For both, a lot of times it's highly unattractive, as I tell people, for men to be needy. But for women to be needy, some men, I think they like it in some ways. They're attracted to it, right? Some women are attracted to needy men, and they run. What happens if you're needy is the other partner, if they like that kind of behavior, they will use it against you and manipulate you to do what they want you to do, to take control of the relationship, really. And those relationships over time aren't very healthy. So you need to get to the bottom of why you were being needy. Get to the root of that, and that's something deeper than this relationship. Phone calls started to become less. I noticed we weren't seeing each other as much. He also kept making promises that we would do better, but promises became emptied with just lip service. We had a disagreement, stopped talking for 3 days. I don't know what the disagreement was, so I can't speak on that. I reached out first and said sorry, and we started back talking again. So I need to know what you guys are arguing about to give you my take on that. We started talking and seeing each other again. Our last date was going to see the movie Venom. Good movie, I saw that. I'm not a big fan of all these comic star movies, but I think I like that movie because I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area. I went to San Francisco State University. So when they're walking around those streets in Venom, I'm like, oh, I've been there, right? He was, getting off the topic there, he was distant, but we were together. That Friday, we had a long conversation about our relationship and talked more about things we wanted to do together. Okay, so you reconnected. I even asked about his last girlfriend to gauge what sort of woman he was dating. That can be fine if he's comfortable with it. You can learn a lot about that, but I don't want you to start comparing yourself to his last girlfriend, but it would be healthy to know what happened and why they broke up. For example, if he was cheated on, it might make him more insecure in the next relationship. I have to tell you, he suffers from a speech impediment along with stuttering. Okay, I personally believe there is more to the speech impairment, as most of his schooling was special education, but he really never gave details. So probably if he's someone that's suffered from that, and I'm not completely familiar with how to combat that or cure that, I would say this, though. He probably went through self-esteem issues in school because he probably was teased a lot. But I could be wrong. I mean, that's your assessment, but I would say that that's something that you'd have to boost his self-esteem and fully accept that probably it's tough for him if he's stuttering and he's got a speech impediment to be around new people and new friends, right? And he probably is sensitive to criticism or comments that he might assume are putting him down. After that last great conversation and him opening up more about his exes, seems most of them use him for his money, as he does have a very good job. Okay, so right there you identified he feels that he gets used, and if he feels that way, then he is attracting women that way, and he thinks that's why women are attracted to him. And he's got a very good job, so he's able to support them in that way. Our dates were always 50-50. If he paid for the movies, I would pay for our dinner. I don't have a problem with that at all. I mean, some women would look at that as the guy being cheap. I know on dates that I've gone on first dates with girlfriends, the girlfriend, it wasn't my girlfriend, it's prior to its first couple dates. I've had those women insist on paying half, and I think they're just trying to make a point, like, look, I'm not like that. I'm not just looking for a free dinner. I really enjoyed your company, and I'd like to, in that particular case, I'd say, yeah, no problem. But on future dates, maybe I would pay, no problem. Do you have a problem paying 50-50, and is that something he's insisting on? So what's behind that? Or is it just your pleasure? Or do you see it as keeping you guys in the friend zone, being that you haven't slept together? He liked that very much and stated he liked that I went 50-50 on dates because he's not used to it and he got used for money before, sure. And you're showing that I'm not just here for money, right? And I don't think you're showing that just because of his past. And that's why he's valuing it. It doesn't mean you're better than the other women. It just means you value things different. As nice and kind as I was at times, I felt like I was not being treated well. Okay. To this end, he went completely MIA that weekend. No text or phone call the entire weekend. He called me everywhere that Monday at my job, cell phone, calling me multiple hours. I waited an hour to return the call. So he didn't call you all weekend, and then he called you off the hook on Monday. Maybe he was trying to play some mind game with you to call him first. I waited an hour to return the call. His excuses for not calling me, he stated that he got in a huge argument with his family and his brother, and he was too angry to call me on Saturday and Sunday. This is completely possible, and if you're just in the beginning of a new relationship, this is an entry thing. Hey, I'm sorry to hear that, hun. If you ever want to talk to me about your problems with your mom and your brother, I didn't know you guys had big arguments. You should give him the benefit of the doubt that that's what really happened. And if he doesn't want to talk about it, that's fine. Maybe down the road he'll mention it, right? We all have our family issues. We all have our personal things outside of a relationship that we need to deal with. And at some point you hope that the person you're with, you can share those things with, and that's how you get closer. He said everyone told him he had a bad attitude. I stated I didn't tell you that, and he yelled back to me, I know you didn't tell me that. I stated I didn't tell you that, and he yelled back at me. It was the end of my workday. I was leaving to go home. So if it's the end of your workday, you don't have a lot of patience either. Keep that in mind. Okay, that's the worst time to call someone. He said everyone told him stated to him I would call him when I got home, which I did twice, and he never answered or returned my calls since. I've not heard from him since. No text or phone calls. I've been in no contact since that day. I've also deleted all social media as well as with radio silence. I want to feel like I went missing and fell off the planet Earth. That's extremely dramatic. But okay, I heard nothing from him. Well, bottom line, you're in no contact right now. This is an early relationship. You don't know each other very well. You're getting to know each other. If you wanted to reach out to him after these 2 or 3 weeks, or a month and just see how he's doing. That would be completely fine. He could have really had a bad situation with his mom and his brother, and it blew him up, and he was all over the place. You don't know that relationship. You don't know what's going on with it. And, if you cared about him and you wanted to know, you can ask. You've had some time to cool off. This is a different situation with no contact than if you were in a relationship for 3-4 years and you had layers and layers of problems. You guys kind of ended on a whim and in a heat of the moment argument. So if you talked within the next week or two and you wanted to reconnect with this guy because you really liked him, I don't think it would be out of order to call him up or just to see how he's doing. But your expectation can't be, hey, you need to explain yourself why you didn't call me that weekend. You need to accept what he said about, his brother and his was it his brother or in his family getting in an argument. And if he doesn't call you, he doesn't call you. It's not going to work out. You guys weren't together that long, and he's moving forward. But if you want to reopen the channels and go out on a date again and talk, I don't think it's out of order for you to reach out to him. If you reach out to him, just say, hey, how you been? I just wanted to see if you wanted to reconnect and get a coffee or something like that, whatever. But if he comes back to you, what is it that you want? Do you really like this guy? Do you want to get back with him? Do you want to start dating again? Because 4 months, you're not in a serious relationship. He obviously had a lot of interest in you, but he's got some issues with women if he's had exes before that use him. So if you'd like to do a live coaching session, we can get a little deeper on the reasons why you were needy and why this relationship went wrong so early, and maybe talk about some of your past relationships and what are some of the themes that are going on with you, so that if you get back into this relationship or a future one, you can be in a better situation and more clear. Because that's what I do a lot of times with breakups. It's not about fixing the situation you're in. It's about fixing you and your outlook and reframing how you're telling stories to yourself, if that makes sense. Okay, so I hope that helps you. Please visit writemac.com if you've got a breakup story to tell, or if you'd like to book a live coaching session. Otherwise, thank you for supporting the channel.